It's Lani Sharp's Esoteric Brunch. Join us for an exciting SOC radio show. Lani is an author, mother, astrologer, dream believer, spellcaster, eternal student of magic. Take your seat and join us in the SOC radio chat room as Lani shares and discusses with you all esoteric topics, thoughts and knowledge with a touch of magic. It's Lani's Esoteric Brunch live on SOC Radio. Come on in, take your seat as the magic starts with Lani.
Good morning and welcome to Lani's Esoteric Brunch. Welcome. And today I am speaking with special guest Rosa Carrafa, author and artist who aspires to inspire your divine journey. Hi Rosa.
Hello Lani, and thank you for having me as a guest on this.
Not at all.
Show.
I'm so excited, and this is our take two, because a couple of weeks ago I had Rosa on and there were a couple of issues, a couple of technical issues, so we had to postpone that show. So I'm so glad to have you back.
I'm happy to be back, and look, some things are just meant to be.
Absolutely. That's what I feel, because we've got 2 more weeks of experience under our belt now. 2 more weeks of life experience.
Gosh, and we've learned so much in between those and haven't so many things
Rosa,
happened in between.
This is so true. It's been a real journey, and we'll be talking about emotions and connecting with our creative self, because sometimes it can be hard when you are going through an emotional time to make that connection, and we'll be talking about a lot of themes around that. So today we'll be talking about, we won't be focusing too much on the astrology or the sun signs, but we will be talking a little bit about the emotional nature of each of the zodiac signs and archetypes, and how our emotions can influence and draw out our creativity and in turn enhance our spiritual connections with our inner selves and of course with others, because it's all about others as well. So once you sort of connect with your inner self, then you can expand that outwards. So let's begin.
This can take us anywhere really, this conversation. So it's just it's
limitless.
It is. But definitely, look, with our creative self, how I see it, basically I've been learning a lot along the way, and it differs as with every experience that we have. Not nurturing our creative self via our soulful self actually works really well, and it's something that I feel that I'm finding more and more that people are open to understanding and growing within themselves, because you'd be surprised how many don't realise that the two are really connected. You see?
Yeah, absolutely.
So people just feel as though your creative self is basically like a paintbrush, a pencil, drawing, writing, and little do they know, and they're starting to find out now that the spectrum is just widening into feeding our souls, our spiritual self, because it's, call it a Malways if you like it. I mean, open a page and you can find your way guided to so many different avenues.
Absolutely,
just look at what's happened the events that have happened between our lives in the past couple of weeks since we last spoke.
Yes. Well, it is, it's an unfolding journey, and I, as you said, I think there is a reason that we didn't speak. When was it? Was it 3 weeks ago now? I think it was.
It was a few weeks ago.
Well, was it before my brother passed away?
Yes, and it was actually the week after that happened, and we only had just talked about how
grief and how it can impact your life, and how you can use it to connect with yourself again. Look, it has been, and we will get onto that because it's a very interesting topic that I think touches most of us, grief and loss. So, but anyway, to begin with, what I'll ask you about is, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
About myself? Well, I love to say that I'm an artist. It's something that I hold really close to my heart, because I come from a family of very creative people. So I'm proud to say I'm an artist, and an artist in multiple ways. because I connect with our divine spirit as well. And for me, I find that nurtures every part of me, just like nurturing every brush stroke or every mark that the pencil does. Yeah. So I connect really well with the spirit world through prayer, meditation. That enables me to be able to connect to people and others who do feel as though they need some mentoring or some guidance in any particular area that they're struggling with. Yeah. But many people who I communicate with have, I'm going to say, a battle or a journey with grief. Right. And as we know it, life, takes us on so many journeys, and I do believe it brings us the people that we need to be close to. Yeah. And it's almost, I'm going to say, a bittersweet moment because of so much heartache that I've experienced in the past growing up.
You yourself, personally?
Yes. How can I say, it's even more heartbreaking now as an adult, as a mature woman and a mother, knowing that there's people, women and men, children, people at my age experiencing what I experienced all those 33 years ago. Right. So I don't know what you want to call it. It's almost like it's a bittersweet. So
tell us about, tell us about spiritual aspects then. What do you do? Yeah, it's a beautiful name. So tell us what you do with that.
Yeah, spiritual aspects is everything spiritual about you and more, meaning it's limitless, and it's not just limited to the tarot or the oracles. I'm talking about the classical ancient oracles and the modern oracles that we have now. It's not just limited to our literature and products, meaning it's everything, and aspects, meaning like there's so many parts of all those traditional and modern ways of learnings that we can still keep learning. So I just, like I said, the Malways, just like if you picture the old-fashioned Malways, you open up that book, it just seems like an endless amount of umbilical cords going where. Yeah. Yes. That's how I've always thought of the Malways as. It's like it's a gigantic umbilical cord.
And everything connects up with everything.
Exactly. And you need to look at the numbers up the top. And I used to play this little game when I was younger, reading the Malways, because I was one of those freak kids that would read the Malways and trying to join the dots as to, it says now go to 118 or that matches up. I'll be one of those kids. Yep. One of those people.
Yep. Very Virgo.
Very Virgo. So where does this street lead to? Oh, let's see, and that's how I found my path. It's very much like I'm always, there goes your spiritual aspects. Yep. And once I was speaking to a spiritual advisor, and they happened to come up with the same words too. Yep. And I said, well, that's a validation for me because...
Absolutely.
And, I mean, the way, who I am, Lani, but some people still don't. Some are still curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could just tell us a little bit about, spiritual aspects. What do you actually do with people when you're working with somebody? What do you offer?
What do I offer? First,
what can they choose from with you?
Of course. Well, they can have an individually catered session, as in, like I mentioned, they can let me know a particular area that they would like to improve on or work on or address, even simply as just discuss it. Yeah. So it can be a mentoring time as well. Yeah. And it's, they do have a friend in me, and some people, I should say many people, you'd be surprised, who just need someone to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. So just you offer general guidance, but also more sort of tuned in guidance, say from the tarot or an oracle, or do you do angel stuff or work with any mediumship channels?
Yes,
or
whatever comes. And I'm very open in that area. But of course, I do have very strong ethics, as we do. Yeah. And I tend to not cross certain ethics, as in the line, certain areas. And that's where I would say to them, look, if you'd like, for example, heavy mediumship, and I would recommend them to someone else who
I see,
specializes
yeah.
in that area, and all sorts of things. Even like, for example, what you do, Lani, you have a tremendous relationship with the suns and the moon and the zodiac.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
yeah,
whereas, even though I'm knowledgeable, don't live it and breathe it, and as you do, you see. So with you, see how we all have our strengths.
Well, we all have our areas of specialty, and one area I've always wanted to explore, but I mean, I guess we all are mediums in a way. We're all intuitive. We've all got that. But, you know, it's certainly an area that I, A, haven't explored, and B, have never sort of worked in or offered as a service to others, only because I don't feel confident in my ability yet. But with astrology, absolutely, that is just second nature to me. And I was almost born with it. You know what I mean? When you're just born with a certain knowing, and, yeah, that's how I definitely understand what you mean.
I think it's when you look at how we are born under the certain suns and the moons, it really does. It's self-explanatory as to who we are. So
yes, it can explain so much about yourself. And now that we're talking about it, we will touch a little bit on the sun signs and how they do sort of tell us a lot about our emotional selves. But to tell the truth, I think that your moon sign tells you more about your emotional nature. So, but what I'll do is I'll just go through a little bit of a emotional nature of each of the 12 signs, and sort of like the archetypes, if you like, because the archetypes, I feel, describe a character to a T. Like, okay, so I'll start with Aries, and Aries is the warrior child.
Oh, yes, very much.
Taurus is the sensualist, the strong and silent one. Gemini is the talker, the trickster. We all love a Gemini in our lives for a bit of fun.
We do.
But they can get us into trouble. But that's okay. That's another topic for another day. Cancer, the nurturer, protector, the family person. Leo is the leader, the dramatist. Libra is the lover, the diplomat. Scorpio, the enigma, secret keeper. Sagittarius, the optimist, adventurer. Capricorn, the boss, ambitious one. Pisces is the daydreamer, sentimentalist. Oh, and I forgot Aquarius there.
Aquarius is waiting for that one.
And you're probably waiting for Virgo too. And
I am. I'm here, very patient, waiting for Virgo.
Aren't you? And this is it. I mean, Virgos are very patient. Aquarius is the innovator and reformer, and Virgo is you, and that is the perfectionist, analyst, and worrier. And the reason I say warrior is because I just feel that Virgos worry. Well, they worry a lot. It's not so much an anxiety. It's more of a striving for perfection and trying to do everything right by themselves, of course. But that can make them their own worst critic. So I left Virgo till last deliberately because you are one. So how do these traits of Virgo affect your creativity, or what other traits of that sign do you relate to?
I can tell you that I won't start a creative piece until I feel it.
Yep.
I don't do things half-heartedly, and that also means I need to feel like I need to be the piece. I need to be the subject. I need to be the canvas. And I can give you an example. I have a consignment piece.
Yes.
Here, and all I've done is prep the canvas.
Okay.
It's ready to go.
You're waiting for the perfect moment.
But nothing else has happened to it.
Yeah, okay.
Even though I have the image.
That's wonderful, though, that you've got a consignment piece you're working on.
Oh, I love consignment pieces.
Yeah.
They're just, they take me anywhere, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if, for example, this person has given me the image that would like me to transcribe onto the canvas, and of course give my little take on it. It's not as easy as just copying and pasting. It's about feeling it, because, like I mentioned earlier, I feel every brush stroke.
Yeah.
And I need to be connected. So like the mind, the soul, the spirit, my hands, my fingers, the brush, the paint. It's an alignment. It's a relationship.
Absolutely.
And then once it hits the canvas, I could either turn it into something or nothing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And so, yeah.
And that's how I work, and I get messages as I work too. So those who do have consignment pieces with me may even get a surprise, write-up.
Yep, absolutely.
So it just doesn't stop at just a painting does that make sense? Or a chalk drawing?
Oh, it does. It does. It's amazing, Rosa. It's what you were just saying, that you wait for that powerful moment when your intuition is at its peak, or when you're really going to connect with your work, and you won't do it until you form that connection.
Because I also have no hesitation in passing it on to someone else. If that's what the other person wants it now, for example, I'd say that's fine, because I don't do things half-heartedly. So
yes, that's Virgo the striver. And, perfectionism isn't always a negative thing. It's actually it can be a really powerful thing, and it can make you produce your best work possible. So do your negative emotions impact positively on your work? Like, for example, I'm a writer. Okay, that's my I'm an artist of words. So, for example, if I'm down or brooding about something, I tend to write better, more powerful pieces of writing. So, but if I'm happy and buoyant, then I'm kind of a bit more out there in the world, so I don't really have time to sit down and write or reflect or any of that. But I just, So how do you find the more negative emotions impact your work?
Absolutely. I actually seem to write the best. I flow more with my writing because I actually, I'm going to say, express it in my writing, because I feel it. I feel the emotions. I feel come on, I'm a poet. I'm a poet.
Yes.
Feel it. We would die for our art, so to speak.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
And there's nothing dramatic about it.
And I'd certainly die without it.
And we die without it. We feel as though, what else is there if we can't express ourselves? Because I feel as though it's just like putting me in a dark room and saying, well, where am I supposed to go?
Yeah. So that defines your life, your path, your journey, everything. Exactly. But what about positive emotions? When you're feeling that, how does that impact your art?
With my work?
Everything.
Well, my work just, how can I say it? It actually glows.
Right.
So when I'm feeling positive and I'm feeling the love and I'm feeling that I love myself, I love my journey, I look back on those challenges that I would have felt yesterday and experienced yesterday, and look at today and I say, wow, I feel so much stronger, and I feel as though I see you a lot clearer, Lani.
And so that passion comes through in your work.
Yes.
And it gives you a certain clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to see my live feeds. I mean, I could not do anything.
Oh, yeah, I have. They're just gorgeous. And you really have a way with expressing it. Yeah.
Well, this is what I say. I did an experiment, so to speak, which is not, well, if you want to talk in the scientific world, but I did it more to see and look back at my reaction. How do I look when I'm feeling tired and very run down?
Right.
And therefore you're attracting the same. You're attracting the same people.
Energy. Yeah.
So I did a live feed a little while ago, and I was feeling exhausted and just tired, and my simple things as like I didn't even have any lip gloss on, because you see me, I like my lip gloss. I thought, no, I'm going to see how I feel, and I thought, no, I feel like sharing something, but the world needs to see that I'm real as well.
Absolutely.
And
some people need to hear that at that time too, because they might be feeling exhausted themselves.
Well, it's I'm telling you now, it's life-changing to do something like that, because there's no point in doing something when you're always made up and feeling like the top of the world. You really need to...
That's so true.
people want to see you as the real you, like who you are. This is how I've been successful in what I do.
Yes. And so how do you find that, I mean, when you did that experiment,
yes.
have you done that since, or, you know?
I haven't done that since. Last night I did jump on and I called it Motivational Monday because I felt like I needed some motivation. It was Monday. I had a very busy day.
Yep.
And, you know, I was tired last night, but not so tired. Tired in a way that was productive.
Yeah.
So my messages,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
See, my messages still come very clear to me. It's just I find that I say a lot to light workers and create people who don't call themselves light workers. Yeah. I would say be extra cautious as to how you present yourself, because you illuminate all of that to others.
Yeah.
Regardless regardless whether it's during that present moment or someone watches back later.
That's so true. And so last night's live, what was it? A live? That was a scheduled live streaming, wasn't it?
No, last night. Last night I actually presented a giveaway.
Oh, okay.
I gave away an inspirational gardening session because I have posts on my writer and creative page, and this particular post I posted last week asking where on earth, or where in the world do you come from? And
I saw that one. Yeah.
That's right. So a winner was selected last night.
Oh, lovely.
And I love them, and I love giving back. So
absolutely. And you do it so well.
Oh, I love it because I'm actually so blessed to be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
And there's no point in feeding the baby if you can't see the baby grow.
Yeah. So true. So last year you had a book called Aspects of Me. Was it last year?
It was February. Yeah, it was February. It was released.
February last year.
February this year was the launch. And but then we had pre-orders like from November last year.
So that was published through White Light Publishing House. Correct. Can you tell us a bit about the book and how you came to write it or paint it?
Yes, basically the artwork is this beautiful orange gold. It's got some green through it.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I've got a copy and I love it.
Thank you. And for those who would like to grab a copy, just to let them know that this book, even though it's not a very big book, as in like page-wise, but it has a massive, larger-than-life message, so I've been told.
It really does.
And I've kept this simple. So the words or the affirmations that are within these pages are the very affirmations that have gotten me through all this time. So at the age of 14, I have a little story on it.
Yes.
In the page where I lost 6 members of my family members in one devastating car accident.
And that was many years ago.
I was 14, and that was in 1984.
Right.
And I'm going
in front of book. Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, that was the hardest page to write.
Oh, it would be. It was very hard to read too, Rosa. It's a very impactful piece of writing.
Thank you. You know, many people haven't even commented on that because
it's a difficult topic, isn't it?
Yes, I feel as though they don't know how to.
No.
But once again, you have gotten to know me. I don't mind a little bit of the reality shock tactic, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm real. I'm real. I mean, I experience joy, I experience sadness, I experience grief.
Yes, wow.
I still experience grief. I mean, grief is a big subject. But in aspects of me, grief has led me to my mission, which many people know, mission of hope, which is a pay-it-forward system.
The Mission of Hope, where's that? Is that a website or a Facebook page?
No, not yet. It's just basically it's trying out stage.
Yeah.
And the reason being I've left it like that is because I want it to be just a part of people's lives rather than it being, a concrete
commercial brand.
That's
yes,
correct.
I know what you
I'm
mean.
saying. I want it to be a part of life. People use the word paying it forward, but I like to use it as a way of hope.
Yeah.
Because you're buying yourself, for example, this beautiful book. Why not buy a second copy and donate it to someone in your community, or leave it with me and I can donate it to someone around the world who needs it?
Yeah, I love that idea.
So thank you. So it's very simple.
And even at your launch, there were quite a few copies bought that were given to, where were they given? Was it one place or a few?
Some people actually addressed the areas that they wanted to go to. Like I had, for example, a lady who wanted a book to go to her daughter's school because they actually helped her daughter, who is a special needs child. And so as a thank you and also as a way of... It's very emotional. So
yes,
so people can actually allocate the book. They can either take it themselves or like I said, do it by myself. And I'm happy to take it personally and mail it out on my own accord.
Oh, that's so nice. So people can let you know if they want you to do that with the book.
Absolutely.
So they purchase it and just tell you where they'd like it sent or given to. Yeah.
Exactly. All they need to do is when they order it through White Light Publishing House, there's two ways of ordering it that way. Either directly through me, then I can arrange for those particular books.
Well, tell us your Facebook page where people can connect with you.
Absolutely. Well, it's Rosa.
Yep.
It's Rosa Carrafa, and it's the author and inspirational page. I'll give you the exact.
Yeah, do that.
Enter my name. So let's have a look here.
It's double R, isn't it?
It's CARRAFA.
That's right.
So that's my full name. And it's the author, artist, and aspire to inspire page.
Right.
So
and what about Instagram? You're on Instagram.
I have Instagram. Instagram is spiritual aspects.
Yep. Okay.
And so
do you have a website, Rosa?
No.
No.
Not yet.
I thought you had one in its fledgling stage.
I did. It's actually on a standstill, so it's not even
easy,
happening. I'm not. I mean, you and I have had this conversation before.
Yes. Yeah.
Tech savvy is
I'm working on mine at the moment, and it's just I'll be working on it tomorrow, actually, quite intensively. So I'm looking forward to that, and I really hope to have it up and running soon because I think a website it's not imperative, but it is valuable for people who want to find you and connect with your work, and so
I think so too. But
you can let me know down the track.
I will. Look, if anyone would like to jump on today, if we do have any live listeners or anyone who would like to have a bit of a chat, I'm happy to share information with them.
Great.
Some aspects of me. So if there is anyone available, so
and
I'd love to.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So, to the people who are listening who would like to connect with Rosa or her work, spiritual aspects, or her books, or her book, I should say, aspects of me. I'm sure you're working on other projects too.
I sure am.
And we'll talk about that after the break because we have to go to a break in a minute. But where can people buy your book, like from retail outlets? I know Sacred Keys sells them.
Sacred Keys have them.
Melbourne.
At this stage, through the White Light Publishing bookshop.
Okay.
And online. So I find that all they need to do is enter aspects of me. I did a little Google search.
Oh, right.
So all they need to do is enter aspects of me.
Great.
And I come up.
So it comes up in the search engine.
Well, I'm going to do it right now. So excuse me if you hear me clicking.
No.
I did this as an experiment. I was thinking it could be a bit scary.
It's good, isn't it? I do that with my books as well, just to see where they're at. And they always come up the top, which is fantastic.
And there I am. I am
great
aspects of me. Although it
that's all you have to type in, aspects of me.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing is, I would encourage our listeners and those who will be listening later on down the track to really go through the White Light Publishing House book, because the one that they have through Booktopia and all the other ones online, it's not the best quality. Does that make sense?
Because it's print on demand, is it?
Yes, it's not. We've got the optimum quality. It's a very, I know, you know, if anyone listens to this, it's not a good quality at all, unfortunately. Okay. So
and
this
the best
is why
thing,
I have promoted it
through. Right.
That way. I want people to get the best possible quality. I mean, they'll be paying the same amount. Why not just...
Look, I totally agree. And the other thing, and I'll tell people this as a general rule of thumb, when you're an author or artist and you write or you produce a book, that's your work. You've put a lot of time, effort, passion into that. You've also sacrificed a little bit of income in a lot of cases, in the sense that because you're devoting so much time to your book or your art, you do sacrifice that part of your life. So what I will tell people is that if you ever wish to purchase someone's book or cards online, always try to buy it directly from the publisher of that person, because what happens also, Rosa, I don't know if you know this, but you get, or the author artist gets a greater percentage of the royalties. Right. Whereas if they buy it from Booktopia or Amazon or other sites, that's all very well.
Of course.
But like you just mentioned, the quality is less because it's done through often a different printer.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is that the royalties, the author who has put so much work and passion into that work doesn't get as much back for it. So I think it's really important that to encourage artists and authors and writers and all sorts of, creative types around the world, always endeavour to buy it directly from the publisher. So, just a little tip.
It's actually, I know when we're going on a break.
Yeah.
When I got the first copy, I studied Christy Lyons, our publisher.
Yeah.
She actually was so emotional. She said, I don't even know how to show it to you. It's of because she knows the quality.
Right, yeah.
It didn't do the painting any justice, because those who have seen the artwork at the launch.
Rosa, it's beautiful and it's gold. It is
gold.
It is literally gold. It's just a beautiful cover.
No justice whatsoever.
No,
and the pages, I actually had tears in my eyes, and so did Christy Lyons, our publisher. She said, I'm so sorry. I said, there's nothing you to be, you're sorry. It's the quality. This is why, just like any art, even musicians, please purchase the
real
work,
copy, rather, the authentic copy. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. I actually wanted it. I think they actually scraped it for me because I don't want it on there. I do not want people. And I know we're probably going to get had for this, but some of the people are actually charging more for the book.
Right, yeah.
I've seen
on other websites.
Yes, I've seen my book being priced at like $15 when it's only $10 through.
Rosa, this is what I mean. If we just keep everybody honest, and if you purchase through the publisher directly, you're not going to have an issue. And
I'm in Melbourne, so is the publisher. Can I tell people that most of the time, if the publishers are in the same country or in the same state as the author or the artist, you might even be able to get a personally signed copy, and that's even an extra bonus.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, that alone, you can't even put money value on that, because, anyway, that's a whole different topic. This is just like, I'm very passionate about that.
It is. And look, I agree. So we will talk a lot more about your other projects, aspects of me, and some of the causes that you're involved in.
Yes, fantastic.
I can't wait.
So
we'll talk about that after the break, Rosa.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'll see you then. Or speak to you then.
I'll talk to you then. Bye.
Lani will be right back here on SOC Radio with more discussion and sharing of all aspects in living spiritually and esoteric topics. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life, as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. The Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panellists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring spirit's work into the light of day and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. Astrology Chat with Chrissy Lincoln, Psychological Body and Spirit. Monthly chat show, last Tuesday of the month, 1 to 3 p.m. New Zealand time. Join us on SOC Radio. Host your own online radio show. We welcome inquiries and ideas for your own show live right here on SOC Radio. Share your knowledge, thoughts and abilities. Bring your ideas to life here with us on SOC Radio and spiritualistonline.com. Or join any of our shows as a special guest, speaker or presenter. Check out the liveliest spiritual chat show, the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum, a monthly discussion show, or the Circle of Mediums, a weekly show sharing spirit messages and teaching all aspects of mediumship and psychic abilities. Or join our Christina on the monthly astrology show. Contact us now at socradioshows@gmail.com or facebook.com/socradio. Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time, featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our 3 vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panellists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring Spirit's work into the light of day and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. Premium membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses for certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30 second jingles, adverts or promotions. All going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Premium membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses for certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30 second jingles, adverts or promotions. All going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Welcome back to Lani's Esoteric Brunch. Grab a cuppa and a snack as we bring you more topics and discussions, sharing and messages with Lani Sharp.
Okay, welcome back, Rosa. We're talking today, we're talking today about emotions and connecting with our creative selves. So before the break, we were talking about your gorgeous book, which I have a copy of, called Aspects of Me. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the book? How does it encourage one's creativity?
Well, number one, apart from the cover being the obvious one, it's like I said, the colours are really bright and they're very earthy. And how does it encourage you? Well, I like the colour gold, okay, because there's something special and regal about the colour gold. And the actual title is in gold foil.
Yes.
And that's even though it's reflecting, it encourages your creativity as well, because it's almost like you can see through. It's like a mirror image of yourself as well, and it reminds you that you are special.
Yeah.
And how does it encourage your creativity? Well, the pages, they're in alignment with the colour wheel. So as you open up each page, it's literally like going through the colour wheel. And so you start off with the reds, and then you're going into the soft oranges, and you've got the pink, and you've got your earth browns, and you finish off, with the greens.
Yeah.
So it's almost like flicking one of those little notepads you're doing a drawing of, from sitting down then jumping up high. So what you're seeing is this amazing array of colour. And as you could do, this book actually comes in handy in so many ways, but the one that I find is the most effective is, apart from starting with the first affirmation, which is I'm going to share, which is I am amazing, because even though the affirmations in this book can come across as almost naive, right? But we need to realize that we all have that childlike attitude in us.
Yeah, of course.
Because when we feel sad, we want to cry. We want to, curl up and just say, look, I just want to detach from the world.
Come back to our core selves.
Exactly. So I am amazing. Although it's so simple and it's something that my children can say.
Yeah.
What's the most effective way in using this book, not only as a reference, as a tool, or as a guide, is you have a sentence or a phrase on the bottom. It's like someone's repeating it back at you. So it's just like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So you look at yourself in your mirror and you say, I am amazing, in this beautiful orange mirror.
Yeah.
And on the bottom, the mirror talks back to you and says, you have a gift that is inside of you and ready to be shared with everyone.
Yes.
So it's taken, like the fairy tale look, the naivety look that we've grown up with. It's almost like, so for example, Snow White, the queen looks in the mirror.
Yeah.
Who's the fairest of them all, and the mirror talks back at her. So this is very much the same, very similar concept.
Yes.
So I'm amazing, and yet you are spoken back, and you hear the voices of your guide, your teacher, of yourself, even those who have lost their past one, because remember the influence of this book with me losing. So it's part of grief. It's almost like I can hear my mother's voice saying, but Rosa, you have a gift. And it's inside of you, and it's ready to be shared with everyone.
Yeah.
So it could be used in so many ways, and I used it a lot in my guidance sessions as well.
Yeah.
Allowing them to pick the colour that they're attracted to, or we just do a random flip.
So much thought has gone into it.
This is what I'm saying. It's simple, but it's so much you can do with it.
And I don't think naive is the right word, because it's more a simplicity. But, paradoxically, that adds to its depth. So I just think it seems to appeal to all age groups too, from babies right through to the very old. So why do you think that is? Why do you think it appeals so much to all people?
Why? Because it allows them to be who they want to be.
Come back to that simplicity.
Exactly.
But that strength as well. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is strength.
That's what I feel from the book. It's a very profound message, but it's so simple, And I think it's got that perfect combination.
Well, there are children who connect with it very well. And, I mean, there's children I've been told that just look at the pages and they talk to the pages.
Well, what about my Alira, my little daughter, who she drew through it. She loved it. She was just sitting with it during that. We'll talk about Journey of a Lightworker too, that book launch, and she just sat there and she didn't scribble. She drew beautiful pictures through it. And you said that is exactly what it's for expressing yourself.
Exactly. That's why, if you look on the inside, the two covers on the inside are actually white, and they're drawable, they're matte. You see, they're not shiny like the cover. So the cover, I wanted it to be really shiny, and it's exactly the way I wanted it to be. That's why it took so long for it to come out. Yeah. Another really profound and powerful part of the book is the absolute last page.
Yep.
It's very interactive, where it asks you to write down aspects.
Oh, I know. Absolutely gorgeous. So to change the subject a little bit, but sort of on the same vein, you're involved in a few amazing causes. So can you tell us about them?
Well, number one, coming up now in October, I'm part of a local community fundraiser, and I've been asked to be a part of it because they've heard of my book and the message that it's just happening around. It's just contagious, I was told.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies happened to be at my book launch, who passed on the message to a friend of hers who is the organizer of this fundraiser.
Yep.
And somehow I was invited to come along to the meeting at the Children's Hospital, so I met the directors of the foundation, which is very humbling indeed.
Absolutely.
I had my book there, and that's it. It happened from there, and then I said, would you mind if I show this book to our education department?
Yep.
And then they said they would love to have 20 copies in that classroom, and I was ecstatic because that means I'm the fundraiser, because it's actually the Royal Children's Hospital Foundation in support of them.
Sure.
So copies are going to the Children's Hospital, and the 28th of October.
I'll be there that night with my friend, and I can't wait. I just think it's just such a great cause, and you being a part of it makes it even better.
It's overwhelming because so many local businesses and people who are in touch with those people who want to make a difference. You know that phrase, how everyone wants to change the world, but you need to do it yourself one at a time.
Yeah.
And we do have some beautiful literature from Wildlife Publishing, including your book, that will be a part of that celebration that night.
Great.
And like I said,
the raffle.
Yes.
A lot of people have donated their careers to it. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm only just...
I'll probably win my own book.
How amazing would that be? And that's a sign in itself, if you think about it. And it's like the organisers saying, you know what, if we don't have enough people that come, I said to them, you know what, the people who want to be there will be there, because it doesn't matter whether there's 20 people or 200 people. Does that make sense? Or 2,000 people?
Yes. For me, it's fabulous value. So just tell some people who are listening how they can get a ticket if they wish to come along. It's in Melbourne, in Victoria.
It's in Melbourne. It's held at the RSL.
Yeah.
And it's the new RSL, like they've relocated, and it's beautiful inside. And they've actually donated the function room. So I was able to arrange for this, and it was actually really exciting. It's just, it's everyone helping one another. And
it is.
And it's $50, and they get a fabulous meal.
It's amazing.
Meal, plus we have an unbelievable dessert cake, which has been donated from a reputable pastry
that's
shop.
Why I'm going.
Yeah. Yes. As soon as you hear, foundations and everyone wants to support the Royal Children's Hospital or any cause that's close to anyone's heart, you'd be surprised. So we've got so many delicious goodies.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lovely evening. And
how can people buy tickets? Is that
they can buy a ticket? Page? Look, there is if they jump on my page, on my author's page, I'll see an event, because the other ladies are not on Facebook as much. So I'm actually doing all the Facebook promoting. Really, that's my job. That's really that's really my job. And so
fantastic, and you are such a good promoter too. You've got a really strong presence on Facebook, and that's what I love so much about you, that you do all these live videos, and like you said, you're your authentic self. So
I can only be me.
Well, exactly, Rosa. Everybody else is taken, aren't they?
Also, I have a free ticket for a My Special Child conference.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So I have one free ticket. So
Fantastic.
that's My Special Child. My book is actually being exhibited there as well. I'm one of the primary exhibitors, and I came from a meeting with the ladies from My Special Child yesterday, and they're actually really keen on promoting the book, so which is really, really good. So once again, on my author and artist and aspire to inspire page, I've got the cover page, as in see us at My Special Child at the Alphen conference, the 25th to the 26th of August, and I have one free ticket.
Great.
And it's for either one of those dates, the 25th or the 26th. And now they both start 9 a.m. in the morning, and they go right through to 2:30. So the Friday one is the 25th, and then the Saturday is the 26th for those who are able to come on a Saturday. Right. And you do get morning tea, you get lunch, and I'm going to say for those educators and the professionals out there, you do get a certificate of attendance, which goes towards points or educational points, or you do get a certificate of attendance.
Sure. And what month is that? August?
Now it's coming up in 2 weeks. So 25th and 26th of August. This is the Alphen conference. Yep. There's another one in Knox as well coming up. Yep. I'm pretty sure it's around December.
Okay.
So Aspects of Me supports one of the sponsors of My Special Child, and that assists families with children of all special needs. And also, it's a great conference for anyone to go to who would like to learn a little bit more about behaviours.
Yeah, okay.
So it's
it sounds really informative.
It's a little bit of everything, and I'm going to say it's for everyone. I'm looking forward to being amongst. I know a couple of the speakers, and they're immaculate speakers.
How fascinating!
It is. There's an MP.
Thanks, Rosa.
No, you're very welcome. So that's one, and also I support the Go Girls Foundation.
Yes.
Which is a group of ladies who support women in education.
Yeah.
And getting themselves on track, and just look, I'm happy and satisfied doing what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Could I possibly fit in any more? Hell yeah. There's always room.
That's good to know, Rosa. That's really good to know.
You're
doing such a great job. So you're also a contributing author to Journey of a Lightworker, which is a collection of amazing stories from around the world written by people who are walking the path of a light worker. So can you tell me a bit about that's published through White Light Publishing House as well, which is both of our publishers. Yes. We both have books published through them, and they're just fantastic and the most personal, supportive people one could possibly work with, as you know.
Very supportive.
So tell me a bit about your journey and how you are sharing that love and light.
Well, in Journey of a Lightworker, I shared little snippets of growing up, my relationship with my mother, and how I would talk to her about my dreams, because being very little, children tend to dream a lot, and so do adults. But as children, we're more open. We don't have those conditions. So I would tell my mother about some dreams, and a couple were recurring, and like she understood me, but also that sense of fear of what I was saying at the same time. Yeah. So this is why I say parents who do have empathetic children, spend some time getting to know them. Getting to know that side of them. And Journey of a Lightworker for me did touch on my faith as well, because I grew up in a wonderful, supportive Roman Catholic Italian family. Yep. And my grandmother, who is, or I should say was, but she was taken in the car accident as well with my mother. She was the matriarch of the family, and I actually have her name, so I carry on her work. Okay. So I am her. Yeah. In many aspects. There we go. Aspects of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is exactly what it's about. That's what aspect of me is.
Yes.
And so I touch on her gifts and the ability that she has had. I mean, how can I say it? I get so emotional over it.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
profound influence that she had on myself and many others, and how people would come to her for prayer or for healing, or they would go and see her very much like they would with me, set some time aside. And I work very traditionally as well, like she would. Like, I'll put the coffee on or a cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's like I dry my own herbs too.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's nothing's really bought with me.
You're creative in so many aspects, aren't you?
I am, but can I say it's not hard work? Some people may find that hard work, but it's not. For example...
This is what I'd like to ask you about, actually. What would you say to someone who's struggling with their emotions and finding it hard to tap into their powerful spiritual self? Like, what would you advise them? How can they sort of tap into that creative side?
How? The number one word
Well, you say it's simple, but to some people it might not be because they're tied up with other things in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So number one is, I love that word how that you just said, like how would they? The how is their will, if they want to.
Okay.
Just without will and wanting to learn about themselves. That's the key here, because many that struggle have actually forgotten to learn about themselves.
Right. Yes.
Now that's not being selfish at all. Instead, because you see, you're connected with me on my pages on Facebook. I speak a lot about that on my author and artist page. Get to know yourself, love yourself, spend some time with yourself. Get to know what you like and what you dislike, and what you dislike. What is it that you dislike about your dislikes? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about doing your head in. I'm talking about having a relationship with yourself and finding out what shade of yellow you like, what shade of green you like.
Yeah. And it doesn't have
you.
to be complicated, does it?
No. This is what I'm saying. Keep it as simple, like a child. This is what aspects of me is about. Keep it childlike. Keep the wonder of a child bright.
Yeah, definitely.
Learn from your children. If you don't have children, if you're one that does not have children, look at a child in your neighbourhood. I am very active in my community of the city of Whittlesea.
Yes, it sounds like it.
I love what I do. I mean, I have even attended council meetings, which everyone can do in their city.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
So get involved in your council meetings. They're held once a month. Just go to one even if it's just twice a year.
Yeah.
Get to know your council members, because incidentally, at the Royal Children's Hospital the foundation fundraiser, our youngest counsellor will be there. She's only 19.
Oh, wonderful!
She's just come from Indonesia doing a debate.
Okay.
She's one of the primary speakers.
Fantastic.
So definitely getting to know. We can
all do something, can't we?
Absolutely, getting to know yourself. For those who are struggling in that area, set some time with yourself. Now, if you find that you cannot talk to your friends or your family about what you're going through, apart from social media, I find it's very important to connect with the right spiritual advisor, spiritual guide.
Yep.
How do we do that? Well, people ask me, how do we do that? How do we know the right one fits? I said, well, the key is in that word fits, because you wouldn't buy a pair of shoes unless you wouldn't wear a pair of shoes that fit.
Yeah. That's a great way of looking at it.
Well, it's not that you dislike that person, you're not going to get along with that person. It's just that person's life experiences may not match up to where you are at now. Does that make sense?
Yep, definitely.
So this is what goes back to originally what I talked about. I will always pass on someone if I feel that I can't give them that 100%.
And that's very truthful of you, because a lot of,
honest.
yes. And it sounds like you're really true to yourself and you love what you do, and it really shines through.
I do, because Lani, just really quickly there, because I know there's a lot of stigma around spiritualists and what we do, but there's someone like myself and yourself, this is all we know. I mean,
that's right.
I'm going to be 48 this year, and this is all I know.
Yep.
This is my life profession. Okay, I don't have fancy certificates. I have
yeah.
I mean, all they need to do is get to know me, and that's who I am.
This is you, and this is what you do, and this is what you can offer. It's amazing.
I am amazing. Who I am. I can't be anyone else, and you know.
Of course.
I'm very passionate about that.
So what advice do you have for other creative artists around how they can channel their emotions into creating masterpieces, as you have? And a masterpiece could be anything. It doesn't have to be a physical piece of work. It could be could create a masterpiece out of your whole life. Leave a lasting legacy or whatever. So what I'm asking is how would you advise someone to channel their emotions into their authentic path, if you like?
Living every moment, and I'm talking about the ups and the downs.
Right, yeah.
And if you keep that part of your life real, you find that everything else is less of a struggle. Mm-hmm.
So just putting one foot in front of the other, living in the now.
I actually, like a lot of my feeds, I actually probably think it could have been last night when I said that we only have a short time here on this earth.
Yes.
And that's not sounding corny at all. That's reality, because we don't know. Okay? So we've got memories. All we have, once our body leaves this earth, it could have been last night's message, right? Once our body leaves this earth, and even though it's so hard and you've just experienced this, so you're still in this mode. You're not even in transition yet. You're still in that place,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
And what happens is, once our body leaves this earth, we've got all these wonderful, beautiful memories, okay? Deal with that any way you feel you are comfortable with.
Yeah,
There's no rules. So for those who are struggling to express themselves in a creative way or in a spiritual way, deal with it any way you feel comfortable with. Most importantly, please, please, please don't deal with it alone.
Yeah.
Okay? You need solitary time. I get that, because I know I've been there and I'm still doing that. And I'm talking about 33 years later. You still need your own time. But don't forget that there are people who love you. And this is what I'm addressing in my upcoming book, Aspects of Heaven.
Right.
Okay? It's a little bit more involved than what Aspects of Me is. So
and how's that? What do you mean by more involved?
Well, the Aspects of Me, it's got the simplicity look of it. So you look at it, it is. If people go on my page and I'll see it in the background. It's exactly that. It's very simple, and it's like the beginning of the next journey. So every book has its path. It's almost like it progresses with you as you're learning. Mm-hmm. Oh. So Aspects of Me is about your creative self in all that positivity, and when you're feeling down, or people that go through depression, or children that go through changes at school, and family dynamics can change. Aspects of Me is a wonder tool.
Yeah, yes.
But then we've got, after that, we have our grief. Okay, so how do we deal with our grief? Our grief is changes. The changes that we don't want, the unexpected changes in our lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now that's I don't know when that's coming out. I
was about to ask. Fascinating. So you're working on it now?
I've been working on it, and I stop it. And being such a creative being that I am, everything has to feel right at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
And in saying so, I'm working on a novel.
Right.
See, and that's a creative spin as well.
Yeah.
Very different again. But I'm in no hurry, because as a typical Virgo, it'll only happen.
It'll happen when it's all lined up.
When it's all supposed to. Exactly. But
I really hear you.
This is what Journey of a Light Worker. How many of us are there? There's about 20 of us. 20
in the book. I think there are 21 or 22 stories. Yeah.
contributing writers, and
Yes.
each have such an amazing story to tell. But
Well, they are, all of them are just so amazing, and I made it a goal to read one story per night, only because I've got so little time. But I thought, no, I will get through this book in 21 days. And that included my own story. I wasn't going to leave that out. You know what I mean? Like we sort of tend to move away from that. But I thought, no, I'm going to dedicate a whole night to reading my own story here and reflecting on it.
How does it make you feel reading your own story? I mean, honestly.
Proud.
Exactly. Reading it back.
And
intense.
excited about possibility. Yeah.
Do you read it back like you're the reader, like you're the external person? Yes.
I try and look at it from like a reader's perspective and think, well, how would someone read this? How might they take it? I know that everybody's perception is different, but
of course,
my readers are always my first consideration in whatever. I mean, of course, my own channel, as in when I'm writing, I'm in my own zone. So I don't write necessarily what I think people want to read. I write what comes from my heart first. But then when I'm editing anything, I'll turn it around a little bit so that it appeals to as many sort of areas as possible. But yeah, with the story, it was amazing to read it back, because you can read it so many times and see it from so many different perspectives. But what I aim to do is draw people in and intrigue them. I like to intrigue people. So when I
love that word, intriguing.
Well, so do I, and I think life is all about unravelling yourself, unravelling others, and not in an analytical way necessarily, but just connecting. So that's what I hope to share with my story, my journey in that book, and it's just such an amazing book, and I just loved everyone's.
I love it too, because the way I've been doing it is that I randomly select a chapter.
Oh, fantastic!
And I just let myself be guided, and who do I need to learn from today?
Exactly.
Who do I need to know more about today? And there's so many people who have contributed to that book that I don't even know who they are.
No,
and that's what's so wonderful about it.
But you get to know who they are through their story, and you think, I'd love to connect with that person more.
And that's what it's about, because everyone's got their links attached, where their websites and where they can be contacted. And the best part about that book is that we're all real. And let's face it, we're not going to, relate to every single story.
That's right. Yeah.
But
exactly.
Isn't that the beauty of it, though?
It is, and I still love learning about other people's, even if they're not stories that I particularly resonate with. That doesn't mean, that I won't hear it or absolutely love to know about it, because that's so important.
I'm going to do something completely wow now. Lani, do you mind if I draw a card?
Yeah, sure.
I'm actually going to draw.
I would love you to.
Oh, this is really exciting. I've never really done this.
And what's the deck?
I am going to tell you this is the Jesus Affirmation deck.
Oh, wow. That's from Sharon Morales?
Sharon Morales. So we're talking about how
her cards are just gorgeous.
Aren't they just divine? And
they really are.
I find that these actually work really well with aspects of me, only because this particular deck, because remember how we're all drawn to particular, we're spiritually led, okay?
Yes.
How the gold, it's gold as well, the gold edges and the messages are very soulful.
Beautiful.
I use
those cards are published through White Light Publishing House as well. So
exactly. All the cards, I'm a Manifestor card. Yeah. I'm a Manifestor card by Linda. They're just beautiful.
Right, yeah.
Aren't they
They're on my wish list.
They all work with my book.
I'm hoping to manifest them.
I was just saying it to someone. Isn't it just something magical and unexpected? How unexpected, I love that. How all our products seem to complement.
Absolutely.
What we do. So I have here for you support.
Okay.
All of the support I could ever need is available to me right now.
Oh, well, that's really
I'm loved and I'm safe, and I am supported in all ways. How beautiful is that? In conjunction with aspects of me, I am.
Definitely. So tell me, Rosa, have you got your book with you, Aspects of Me?
I certainly have.
Right. open it up to a page.
Card for you. Let's do a page, yes?
Yeah, and read that. Support is so appropriate for me right now.
You've got learning. I am learning, Lani.
Wonderful.
So you are a student of life, and each time you learn, you become stronger with knowledge to share with the world.
Right.
Do you have aspects of me with you?
That's something I need to hear as well. I don't have it with me right now, no.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another page for you. And I would like to...
2 houses at the moment, Rosa.
Sorry?
I'm living across 2 houses at the moment. It's at my other house.
I'm going to ask you to repeat, I am loved.
I am loved.
Yes, Lani, you are loved.
And is that from aspects of me?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So you repeat, I am loved.
I am loved.
Yes, Lani, you are loved. At times, Lani, you may feel alone, and this will only last for a short time until your tears stop flowing and your heart stops hurting.
Oh, thanks, Rosa.
It's when you're feeling alone, it only lasts for a short time. The tears
I find that. But, at the time it can feel like forever.
Feels like an eternity.
It can. Everything gets a little bit distorted when you're feeling low. But, I mean, look, it's okay, and I acknowledge that it's all part of the journey because I have had death, grief, loss in my life before. So each loss, I suppose, just reinforces your strength.
It does. It does. This is for the creative, spiritual souls out there who what we're talking about, like this whole program is about, is I am creative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when we say I am creative, and it's on this beautiful green page, I will say back to you, your mirror will say back to you, your spirit self will say back to you, or your divine God or saint or angel will say back to you.
Yes.
You see the world in a different way from others.
Yeah.
And you see colours, shapes, textures, and people the only way that you can, and it's your way. It's beautiful and acceptable to be you.
Oh, how beautiful.
So this is really important for children.
It is.
This one here. Because you know how we say that we're all different, and there's very young children in the school system, who are experiencing spectrum needs and all sorts of needs, special needs. They are creative because, if we stop and just listen to them and watch them, they do see the world in a different way from us. And we can do that too. We need to take
special souls.
Well, we're all special.
Well, we all are, exactly.
They're teaching us they're really teaching us to strip all this social political drama off us.
Absolutely. And conditioning and beliefs, and they're our mirrors.
That's why that phrase there,
and our teachers,
is very loud for the young children. They
Absolutely.
Are creative. And they do.
And that's why your book appeals to so many different age groups, even if it's just a visual thing for a young baby.
Well, this is why in my car alone, I've got them in. You got your back seat. You got the seats, your front seats. You got your bucket seats. You've got those pockets. I've got my books in each pocket.
Oh, wonderful!
And on the side.
How old are your children, Rosa?
One's going to be 16 this year, and the other one's going to be 11. But when we're together with my partner's children, there's 4 kids.
Yeah, right.
So then we have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old as well.
Yeah, wonderful.
So
you've got 2 11-year-olds? Is that what I heard?
Well, because my partner's daughter, she's 11. Angela's going to be 11 this year as well.
Oh,
so
right.
I've got in total 4 books in my car.
Yeah, great idea.
So we just play this game. Okay, everyone, open up the page.
Yes.
And what I say is I ask one of them to open up a page for the other one.
Yep.
So this is what your message is today. This is what you need to work on about yourself. So this is what it actually unites people. And I believe I actually have a review on the White Light Publishing House on the book review page that someone actually wrote. It actually brings their family together at the dinner table.
Oh, nice.
And I was speechless.
Yeah.
Once in my life.
That's beautiful though, isn't it?
But
to read a nice review.
So what are you
you've read
doing,
my book, Lucky Astrology Virgo.
Oh, yes.
So tell me a bit about how that helped you get more in touch with your inner self.
With the Lucky Astrology, the Virgo book, number one, exactly what you just said in the very beginning of this show, how astrology, it maps us out as who we are. So for those who feel as though they're human selves, they don't know like who they are and where they're at, astrology works really well in that area. So the Virgo one,
know thyself.
Exactly. The Virgo book confirms exactly who I am as a person.
Yep.
And this is what I really like about that book. So why I do what I do, why with certain personalities I need to try a little bit more with, or look at them, or look at their lives through a different set of eyes, because let's face it, we don't all get along with our personalities. We need to learn how to
that's right,
to be together, and that alone helped me understand my partner better.
Okay. And he's a Sagittarian.
He's Sag, so we've got earth and fire. So he's very positive. Yeah, we're like a power team.
Yes, that's a very strong combination.
It is. We're both very passionate, and like I say to people, you have disagreements. Who better to have a disagreement with is with the other half who's as equally as passionate as you.
Fantastic.
How's that sound?
It's amazing, and it's an amazing study of human dynamics. The thing is with the elements, I speak about them in a sort of metaphorical sense. So with earth and fire, you're looking at a bushfire going through ripping through a forest. Now the forest is earth, as in the trees are made of the stuff of earth. Now what happens when earth and fire get together? Okay, there can be incredible sort of destruction and passion, as in the fire burning through all the long-standing trees. They're not used to that passion or fire coming through them. But what happens once the fire settles a little bit and begins to trust the process, the earth will regenerate and flower. Exactly. And you'll both come into your own in your own in a more gentle force. So that's how I see the elements, but also the star signs. I've got a lot of metaphors around the different zodiac signs as well, and it's just fascinating.
It is a fascinating study.
Yeah, and people just read these books, and I've had a lot of feedback about. I finally feel like I can relate to something, and it explained exactly who I am, or who I didn't know I was. Some people don't even know who they are until they really get a horoscope done of the sort of cosmic placements at their birth. And like I said in the beginning, you've got your sun signs, but that's more your core authentic self. But then you've got your moon sign, which is a little bit more hidden. So not everybody gets to see that. Perhaps your intimate relationship, your close people in your life get to see that side of you. That's the side of you that comes out when you trust people. That's also your creative side, actually, incidentally. So do you know your moon sign?
No.
Because you work a lot with emotions and tapping
very
into
emotional.
That. All right,
a lot with emotions. The moon sign, I don't know.
Yeah.
And although I am a Virgo, full-on Virgo, my passion side is very fiery, though.
Yeah, interesting.
So it is interesting to know, but emotions, I am very emotional, which is, you could possibly say, it's very probably like Pisces.
Water sign, yeah.
Full of water. But at the same time, I find that if we go by our patterns of the moons, I'm very productive throughout the fire
Yeah.
The fire moons.
Interesting. Okay.
So whether that makes sense or not, I find that I am.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
I gleam and I glow. I'm ultra productive when we have that new magnificent moon in Virgo time in September.
Wonderful.
Every year.
And that's coming up.
It is coming up.
Yeah.
And
right.
I always tend to do some sort of celebration around that time because it's always around my birthday time too.
Well, Rosa, you come across as, what's the word? You seem to have some fire traits going on there, because Virgo is generally quite reserved and quiet. And you have a larger expression than that, I feel. That's how you come across to me. So perhaps your expression is generally your Mercury sign placement. You've probably got... Your Mercury is never more than 28 degrees away from your sun. So it's either in the sign you were born under, which is Virgo, the sign before or the sign after. So you've probably got a Leo Mercury, and that's where your fiery expression comes through. You know, you've got a beautiful flair for words.
Thank you.
But then again, that's also Virgo, because you've got the mercurial
it's very
ruler.
Virgo, yeah.
Yes, it is. They've got a way with words.
I also find the Libra side comes out in me, though. The fact that...
okay. There might be a bit of Libra in there too.
Yeah, because I'm on the 19th of September, so I'm pretty much in between.
Close, aren't you?
Yeah, very close. And see, I've got my sons. One's a Virgo. He's actually born the day before me, his birth date. Yep. And the other one's a Librian. And I'm very close to both of them. I have a very close relationship with both boys.
Yep.
And I find the Librians very emotional, though. So
yes, they can be.
Very emotional. Very people-pleasing, too.
Yeah.
This is why when I give those life feeds on people pleasers, you don't have to overly please everyone. It's just not healthy.
No, and they are... But Librans strive for... union and connection with others, relationship.
That's my side.
That's a very Libran. Yeah.
That's what
Virgos are more solitary.
We are. I've grown up. I love my sister. She I remember growing up with my sister would always call me a little hermit, or in Italian she would describe me this word, little sophisticated.
Yeah, lovely.
Like a little bookworm. Even though I was I had lots of friends and all, but I was actually indifferent. It didn't bother me whether I was home, reading a good book. I'd be one of those kids who would just be writing. I'd always say, I'm going to write a book one day. That's like my book launch. You were there, and I did handpick my sister to say, see, sis, I did write a book one day.
Yeah, definitely. But at the end of the day, Rosa, you're a Virgo through and through.
Yeah. And she's a Gemini. This is what you say. We all need a Gemini in our lives.
I think we do. For a bit of fun, to take the seriousness, the edge off life. It's really, they're great to have around.
And they can't make up their minds.
No, but that's okay.
I love her for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You just
finally, Rosa, if someone gave you a loudspeaker the whole world could hear, what would be your most important message? What would you say to people?
Never, ever give up on hope.
Lovely. And you know what? Do you know what the nicest thing about that is? You didn't even hesitate.
No. It's who I am. I live it. Thank you.
Never give up on hope.
Never. That's what people say to me. People can get that mixed up with stubbornness, right? But no, I'm not stubborn. I do believe there is hope, but I'm not talking about, false hope. I'm talking about a real hope, because my faith is real. Yeah. My faith is real. Like I said in the light worker, in the journey of the light worker, I brought up a Catholic, and of course in time, I just want to stick to the word faith. Yeah. And because
beautiful word.
Does that make sense?
It encapsulates so much, having faith, doesn't it?
Because it's non-denominatory. It's not. Exactly. There's no denomination, and faith everyone has faith if you think about it. I mean,
actually, you're right, and it's one of those words that doesn't mean that many different things to people. Most people have the same consensus of what faith entails, and that is it's wrapped up in hope, isn't it?
It's
hope,
all about hope.
Faith,
so
trust.
Never give up on hope. It actually comes from Corinthians. So faith, love,
What's
hope comes from Corinthians, the book of Corinthians, and so we have faith and we have hope, but the greatest of all these is love.
Yep, absolutely. Love is all there is.
Force is love, and so it is written, and it's that's how I lead my life, and I lead my life with hope, and
beautiful.
That's it, really, and I love this conversation. I love sharing this space with you, Lani.
Yeah, well, thank you, Rosa. I've loved it too. It's just such an insight into all things creative, really, and how others can really tap into that side of themselves if they, can just release all the blockages around it, because there are many blockages in life, let's face it, that we let get in the way, and I will emphasise that we let them get in the way. So if we can sort of just put a bit of a conscious effort into clearing and releasing, we can all get in touch with that side of ourselves.
Wonderful.
And live a much more, fulfilled life because of it. So thanks so much, Rosa, for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Next week, on Tuesday, the 22nd of August, I'll be speaking with special guest Miranda Powell. She's an angelic, intuitive and empowerment coach. So I really look forward to speaking with Miranda, and I hope to.
I love your work. I love your work.
Thanks, Rosa. And I will. I certainly will. I'll never stop, and I'll never give up on hope either.
Never.
So, thank you very much, Rosa.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us for Lani Sharp's Esoteric Brunch. See you next time for more. Bring your friends and join us weekly with Lani for an Esoteric Brunch. Sock Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, Sock Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to Sock Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the Sock Radio chat room on the website.